Coach, we talked last week about this game, and you mentioned you wanted players to have a different attitude about it than they had against their former coach last year. Could you go into detail on that? Will you prohibit them from, say, getting together before the game and hugging and carrying on?
I just think it's a business trip. We need to go there, and we need to have that type of mind frame. I mean, this is a very good football team. They've won the three last. They've had winning seasons the last 3 years. They've gone to 3 straight bowl games. They know how to win. We're trying to get on some common ground where they've been at, and I think we just need to take a different attitude towards it.
Steven?
Looks like Sherrod moved to the slot. What kind of went into that? Where do you see your depth there behind Sean?
It's not really. Sherrod is a multi-player. He can play inside and outside for us, so it's not that. We're just trying to fill out the 2 deep and try to get our best players on the field.
Nakeem, dinged up?
Still dinged up a little.
Mariah?
Coach, when you look at a Western Michigan team, what do you see?
I see a team that wants to run the football. They have a tough running back that's very, very good. They have an explosive backup tailback that I believe rushed for 100 yards against USC in the opener last year. Big, tough, physical offensive line, and they want to play a certain style of football. So they're going to come out there and try to run the football, and if we're going to win, we're going to have to find a way to stop it.
Yeah, Matt.
Coach, what are you expecting going on the road your first game? And you know that pretty well, and you know the road atmospheres. So what are you expecting out there?
You know, it's different for a program of our size to be on the road for the first game is unusual. I'm not sure how many times we've done that here at Syracuse. But I'll tell you this, we've got an experienced enough football team that we should be okay on this. Now, we do have some young players that are in the depth, they're talented, but we've got enough seniors on this football team that knows how to travel, that we should be able to do this and be okay.
John?
Depth chart has your defense at a 4-3 instead of a 4-2-5, which it was headed into the season. Is that just because of the matchup with Western Michigan?
Matchups, who you want on the football field based on what they're going to be trying to do on offense.
So because they're heavy in the run?
I couldn't hear you.
Because they're heavy in the run?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Coach, during the preseason camp, a couple of injuries with Raven Pierce, Dante Strickland, did that limit anything that you did with, you know, kind of your older guys on the team and what you were able to do as you head into this week 1 game?
Not at all. We went full speed ahead. Those guys were out. We're glad that they're back. But the backups got in, and they did exactly what they were going to do. We refused to slow down the growth of the football team based off of injuries. Okay, so it was full speed ahead, and next guy was in there, and even though they didn't know exactly everything to do, they were responsible for everything.
Steve?
How important is this game for the linebackers? You know, how would you kind of expect them to be tested?
All the games are important, but I really believe this is a good test for them. This is a team that likes to run the football, and the linebackers need to be right. They need to be gap conscious. They need to be in their gap. It's a heavy zone team, which means they're going to try to stretch that front and try to get inexperienced linebackers out of their gap. So this is going to be a good test for them.
Mark?
Coach, you also mentioned last week that you've been on the other side of games like this, games where, you know, like Syracuse is expected to win this game against a smaller conference opponent. You've been on the other side. What makes it easier for them, tougher for you guys?
I think the biggest thing is if the schools were playing each other, it might be one thing. It's not the schools, it's the athletes at the school. Yeah, if you go back to their record, I think over the last, and I'm just throwing this out a little bit, but you guys do the homework. You go back over the last 3 years, they may have had 3 to 4 times as many draft picks as we've had on this football team. So this team is really, really talented. You don't win games unless you are talented. So talented football teams win games, not the names that are on the front of their jerseys.
Nate?
Looks like Brian's moving down to the sideline this year. And that might be a change from previous years. I guess just what prompted that, and with Kim up in the booth, him having a defensive coordinator background under you, will there be more, I guess, shared play calling duties on that side?
I wouldn't say anything about shared. This is Brian's defense. Brian's going to call it. It just comes down to the breakdowns of the staff. Coach McLeod is a very experienced coach, and he's been up in the booth before, and he's been on both sides of the ball. So it's just how the staff breaks down and how the coaches will be most comfortable on game day. So there shouldn't look into it much deeper than that.
Matt?
Coach, what's game week mean to you when you finally get to this point? I mean, you guys put in so much work in the spring, preseason camp. When you finally get here for you, how does it make you feel?
You know, I woke up this morning. I was like, hey, this is a little bit different. I'm kind of getting juiced for this a little bit. I think the biggest thing though in the first game for any head coach is that I really want these guys. They have worked their tails off, you know, all the way through spring, extremely physical, a long summer here on campus with no one else around, and then a very, very tough 2 days. And the only thing I want to get done is I want to make sure these guys get to the barn somewhat fresh. They're not going to be 100%. There's no way their legs are going to be at 100%. But I want to get them as close to 90 as possible so they can put their best foot forward on Friday night.
Josh and then Mariah.
You know, looking at the depth chart, every year obviously there's more and more guys that you and your staff brought in and recruited. How important is that for implementing your system, you think, now that we're getting into year 3?
You know, if someone's played for me 3 years, they really are my guy. I mean, someone else might have recruited them, but they can't remember them. They can't remember the old defense. They can't remember the old offense, not if they've been here 3 years. So I look at them like they are my guys. And, you know, I kind of forgot the first part of your question because I kind of just jumped on that part. So you're going to have to ask me again. Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess just with maybe now some of the guys that you have recruited being more integral to the offense and defense, how important is that in kind of your system being more integral?
I really don't think it's that important. If you really look at it, there's a lot of seniors that are starters on this team. There's a lot of seniors that were not recruited by us that are starters on this football team. So, you know, I think they've adapted well, and I think they're all our guys.
Coach, every year you talk about wanting to build 2, 4, and 8 seasons. What makes the change this year of this football team?
I think it's the players in the room. Okay? The hardest thing to do is turn a loser into a winner. It's difficult. It really is. And it has to do with the physical part of it. Sometimes you just don't have enough players to be successful. And then sometimes it's the mental part of it. And I think we've got the physical part almost finished. I think we have enough players to win this year. But we really got to attack the mental part of it because there's a toughness to it, a mental toughness to it that's got to be carried on, and there's got to be a focus for 12 football games where you have an opportunity to have 13.
Steve?
Is the expectation still that Keller will be ready?
I can't hear you, Steve.
Matt Keller, is the expectation still that he'll be ready?
You know what? We don't know. There's something that's going to be going on today that's going to give us more information on it, to be absolutely crystal with you. So we got to wait to see what happens with the reports today.
Thanks.
Mark?
I wasn't at the press conference last week when you were talking about the quarterback situation. Did you name a starter? I mean, it looks on the depth chart like Eric Dunn is going to start. I think we all expected that. Is that something that's officially?
Eric Dungy will start the game.
Time for 2 more questions. Steven and Mark.
Any other injury concerns pop up over the last week, or do you feel good about where you are?
I feel good where we're at right now. Is we're getting healthier and healthier, and if we can make it play this game and stay healthy, I think we'll be really good after that.
Last question, Mark.
You also talked about Tim Lester's familiarity with Eric and some. Is there any edge your way, your guys knowing these former assistant coaches and what they like to do? Is there any familiarity with the other way?
You know, I really don't think. I don't think if we asked Eric what they used to do on offense that he would remember. No, I mean that stuff is so old to a player, especially when you operate at the speed that we operate at. It's hard to keep some old rubbish in the back of your mind based off of the stuff that we're putting in there. So I don't really think it's an advantage on our part of our guys being able to tell us what they're going to do. And I think they are good coaches. They're going to change based off of their personnel. That's what good coaches do. So if their personnel changes, they're going to change. So I'd imagine that their team's a little bit different than their team was when they were back here. Now on the flip side, I think it's a huge advantage for them that they know these players. They recruited them. They've watched them on tape. They should have a good feel for what they can do and what they can't do, and then a very good look into their psyche and what they think they can or can't do for them.
Thanks very much, Coach.
Thank you, guys.